We're now going to see how editing objects works. I'm going to deploy some cubes around, and I enter edit mode, and now when I am in edit mode I can easily select one of the deployed objects and edit its properties. The first thing I can do is to move the object around. Just click the object and drag it around, and as you can see, my cube has been moved along the proper terrain height, and this behavior can be changed, as you recall, moving this slider, so that if we want, we can even move the object around and orient it so that it's perpendicular to the terrain. As you can see, this is very nice, so that you will be easily orienting your objects without the need to do it manually. For example, if I have a coconut tree and I enter edit mode, select the tree and move it around, you can see it's now orienting along the terrain profile. And if you recall, you can even choose an intermediate value. Okay, let's leave the tree just there. There is also a number of other edit operations that you can do. You can, for example, select one object, and you see that we now have 7 spin box controls. Each one allows to modify a property of our object. This one changes the rotation angle along the x-axis. So, for example, if I enter 45 degrees and click enter, the object is rotated along the x-axis by that amount. You can do the same for the y-axis and also the z-axis. And I can even modify the scale for each individual axis as well. So, for example, I can have the X scale set to 150, and also the Y scale and the Z scale. And another nice option that we have is to enter an offset for this object, which would be applied anyway only on the y-axis. So in practice, what we can do is to set this object, say at 10 meters, so that it will not be anymore planted on the ground, but it will actually be floating in the air. You may find this useful for some props to be just floating in the air rather than being stuck on the ground. You see, I've done the same also for the coconut tree. And of course, if I click and drag the object around, it will be again trying to find its position on the terrain. So this means that the vertical offset, with it's a setting that you enter manually, and when you are interacting with the object it will be again planted on the ground. You can even take advantage of the stack items over each other option. When this is enabled, I can just grab an object, and now if you notice, I can move this object around, and it will no longer position itself above the terrain only, but it will consider also other objects. So right now, as you can see, I'm going to position it over another cube. So remember, when this is off, you can grab an object and it will be stuck on the terrain. When this option is on, you can grab an object and even stack it over another.